Hello, everybody. This is the Love Yourself Guru, and welcome to the Love Yourself TV, and welcome to day 27 of Ramadan 2022 with the Guru. And today's word is love. We're going to take a closer look, God willing, at the word love and how to, God willing, integrate love into our lives and live in a state of love. Okay, so let's begin. Now, if you look up the word love in the dictionary, it says an intense feeling of deep affection, and love is our natural state. So your natural state is love, and the further you are away from love, the further you are from your natural state. And when you live in a state of love, God willing, the people that you come into contact with, your experiences will all be reflections of the state that you're in. You'll start to, God willing, people that are loving, God willing, will start to come into your life, God willing. Your experiences will be more peaceful. They all reflect the state that you're in. Now, when you're not in a state of love, it's the absence of love, and when you're when there's an absence of love, it's quite a painful place to be in. And when you're in a state of love, it's not dependent on anybody. So you don't have to wait for somebody to come and to love you, to be in that state. Being, God willing, in the state of love, yes, is only dependent on you, God willing. It's you put yourself in that state. Okay, so being in a state of love looks like, these are words that when you're in the state of love, this is what your life looks like, okay? Kindness, wisdom, compassion, understanding, boundaries, patience, strength, spirituality, generosity, happiness, conscious, grateful, fair. These are all when you're in a state of love, God willing. Now, when there's an absence of love, it's bitter, unjust, sadness, resentment, harsh, sometimes selfish, painful, dissatisfaction, headless, ungrateful, jealousy. So it's really important, God willing, and it's your responsibility. For instance, my life, it's my responsibility to be in, God willing, a state of love, to look at my life, to look at myself, to look at the world, God willing, with eyes of love. And it really, it's not gooey. It's not like gooey wooey love, like it's going to your natural state. It's looking at the world with eyes of compassion, being compassionate, being loving. Now, so for this Ramadan, God willing, until next Ramadan, let's really try to live in a state of love, because when you live in a state of love, really, God willing, miracles happen, because everything that comes into your life is love. And there's nothing more nourishing to the soul than being surrounded by love, because it's aligned with your natural state. There's nothing more beautiful than it. Okay, so how do you get yourself into a state of love? Number one is to love your creator. Your soul, you need your creator, you need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you love your creator, you feel Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's love. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us all, but when we don't participate in bonding with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and returning that love, it's almost as if we're blind, we're numb to that love. And so when you really take the time and your life, you spend it, everything you do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is part of everything you do, and you really strengthen that love, then God willing, that's when really you start to get into a state of love and peace, God willing. So number one is to love your creator and to acknowledge that your creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, loves you. Okay, so that automatically puts your soul in this sense of security and sense of peace and sense of belonging. Number two is to love yourself. Like I've said in all the videos, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us our life, and it's it's our responsibility. So it's my life is my responsibility, your life is your responsibility. Therefore, it's our responsibility to love ourselves, because if you don't love something, you don't really look after it well. So you really, God willing, to be in a state of love, really to start loving yourself, really get used to loving yourself and looking after yourself, and look at it as a responsibility, as a duty, God willing, to really love yourself. So number one is to love your Creator and spend time with your Creator and acknowledge how much your Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, loves you. Number two is to love yourselves. Number three is to have loving thoughts. Now, your thoughts tell you a lot. Okay, so if you're having loving thoughts, then they will create positive emotions. Okay, now as soon as how do you know whether or not you're not having loving thoughts? It will feel very uncomfortable in your body. Okay, so as soon as you feel uncomfortable, yes, that's your body's way of telling you, okay, my thoughts are off track again. Try as much as you can, God willing, from this Ramadan to the next Ramadan, to all of our lives, God willing, to really have loving thoughts. And loving thoughts means to move away from negative thoughts, to move away from thoughts that don't feel right. Loving thoughts, nice thoughts, bright thoughts, thoughts that make you feel happy, God willing, thoughts of God willing, how life is beautiful, how lucky you are, how you love life, how, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, you love your Creator, how much you love yourself, how much you love the people around you. Really try as much as you can to have loving thoughts. The more you have loving thoughts, the more you're in a state of peace, God willing, and the more people, yes, and experiences will come to you and align with those thoughts, aligned with those thoughts. So number one is your Creator. Number two is love yourself. Number three is loving thoughts. Number four is love your life. Love your life. Sometimes, because we go through so many experiences, every day we just take it for granted and we stop loving our life. And I set this intention when I began the Love Yourself movement, that I'm going to love my life, God willing. Like I said, I'm going to every day wake up and say, thank God a billion times. I intend to love my life. I intend to love my day to day. And it's life changing. You don't just live, you love to live. It's totally different. It's totally different. You love to live and you live in a state of love. So the next one is to love your life. Now, the next one is to do what you love. So to do what you love. So often we spend our lives like wanting to do what we love, but we don't really do what we love. So if you can't, so for instance, maybe sometimes maybe you can't do what you love fully. Yes, but you can on a full-time basis, but you can start to do it as a hobby, and then God willing, that will, God willing, grow and eventually take the place of what you're doing if you don't like it. Okay, if you don't want to take the step straight away, do what you love as a hobby, yes, and then gradually, God willing, it will take the place of if you're doing something that you don't love. But your free time, the people that you spend time with, your hobbies, only do what you love. And when you start to do what you love, then you're always in that state of love. So for instance, I don't like running. I just don't like running. I don't like running. I was told a million times, running is really good for you. Run, go to the gym, and I don't like it. I don't like running. I do love walking, and I do love swimming. So I'll do that. I'll do running, I'll do walking, and I'll do swimming. But I don't like running, so I refuse to do it. I won't do anything. I don't like. Even though, for instance, a million people have told me it's fantastic, the benefits, the whole, how do you do? I won't do it. If I don't love it, I won't do it. I love walking and I love swimming. As of now, maybe in the future I like something else, but you get my point. Only do what you really love doing to put yourself in that state of love, God willing. And then, God willing, fill your life with people that you love or can potentially love. So basically, mingle, hang around with, God willing, mix with positive people and people that wish the best for you, and that people that you really wish the best for, really people that have positive energy that will match your energy and match your thoughts. If for instance you are in a state of love, yes, and let's say you're mixing with people that really don't believe in that and are always in a negative state, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect you. So tried and tested, I only now interact with people that I choose to, and that I feel love around, and that increases, God willing. And that's it. That's today's episode on love. I hope you enjoyed it. And God willing, I pray that your life is filled, God willing, with love and joy and happiness and peace. Have a brilliant, beautiful, absolutely amazing day.